The landscape of Philippine basketball is currently standing at a crossroads that feels both familiar and entirely unprecedented. For years, the rallying cry of the Filipino hoops community has been centered on one name, one dream, and one 7'3" frame, Kai Sotto. But as we approach the critical third window of the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers, the narrative has shifted from will he play to a much more complex should he play, and more importantly, what is actually at stake. We are currently witnessing a high-stakes chess match involving international management. The Samahang basketball in Pilipinas, the Japan B-League, and the ultimate holy grail of professional basketball, the NBA. The breaking news sending shockwaves through the community isn't just about a roster spot. It's about a potential 10-day exhibit contract and a path to the NBA Summer League that could finally bridge the gap between Las Piñas and the bright lights of the American big leagues. We have sources indicating that while the Koshigaya Alphas in Japan have given Kai the green light to represent the flag, his U.S.-based management team at Wasserman and East West are reportedly pulling the emergency brake. This isn't about a lack of patriotism. It's about the surgical precision required to manage a career that has already been hampered by a grueling ACL recovery. We're looking at a scenario where Kai Sotto can technically play in the FIBA third window, but doing so might mean risking a concrete, short-term NBA opportunity that is rumored to be on the table right now. Is it possible that the dream we've all been waiting for, seeing a full-blooded Filipino in the NBA, is finally within reach? But the price of admission is sitting out these crucial home games against New Zealand and Australia. The significance of this moment cannot be overstated. If Kai chooses the NBA path, Gilas loses its primary rim protector and the focal point of Tim Cone's system. If he chooses Gilas, he risks a freak injury or fatigue that could derail years of preparation for an NBA call-up. This is the ultimate dilemma of the modern international athlete. The pull of the national colors versus the professional summit. Today, we are going to break down every facet of this development. We will look at the medical reality of his post-ACL form, the specific mechanics of these rumored NBA exhibit contracts, and why his management is taking such a defensive stance despite the player's own desire to suit up for the home crowd. This is a definitive analysis of the Kai Sotto situation as it stands in February 2026. The stakes have never been higher, and the timing has never been more delicate. Buckle up, because we are diving deep into the Kaiju saga and the crossroads of Philippine basketball history. To understand why the third window of the FIBA qualifiers has become such a lightning rod for controversy, we have to look at the physical journey Kai Sotto has endured over the last 14 months. When Kai went down with that devastating ACL tear in January 2025 during a Japan B-League game against the Seahorses Makawa, it felt like the air was sucked out of the entire Philippine sports ecosystem. An ACL injury for a 7'3" center isn't just a setback. It's a career-altering event that requires a masterpiece of rehabilitation. Throughout 2025, Kai was largely invisible on the court, focusing on a 9 to 12-month recovery window under the watchful eye of world-class specialists. Fast forward to early 2026, and we've seen the Kaiju return to action for the Koshigaya Alphas. The numbers have been encouraging, double-doubles, high-efficiency shooting, and the kind of mobility that many feared he might lose. However, the medical reality is often different from the box score. An ankle sprain sustained just last month served as a sobering reminder that while the ACL might be structurally sound, the kinetic chain of a giant is a delicate thing. This brings us to the core conflict regarding the FIBA third window. The Samahang Basketballing Pilipinas, or SBP, has been operating under the assumption that Kai Sotto is a cornerstone of the national team. Coach Tim Cone has built a defensive scheme that relies heavily on Kai's ability to drop, recover, and alter shots without fouling. Without him, the front line against the physical New Zealand Tall Blacks and the powerhouse Australian Boomers looks significantly more vulnerable. The irony here is that the Koshigaya Alphas, Kai's Japanese club, have been incredibly supportive. Usually, the villain in these stories is the international club team refusing to release a player. But in a surprising twist, the Alphas have clarified that they are not the ones standing in Kai's way. They recognize the importance of Gilas to Kai's brand and his personal motivation. The resistance is coming from a different direction: the United States. Kai's management team, specifically the heavy hitters at Wasserman, are looking at the 2026 NBA landscape. We are currently in a window where NBA teams begin looking for insurance big men for the final stretch of the regular season and the playoffs. This is where the term 10-day exhibit or short-term contract comes into play. According to multiple reports and industry insiders, there are at least 2 NBA franchises that have expressed serious interest in bringing Kai in for a formal evaluation, not just a workout, but a high-level exhibit stint that could lead to a summer league roster spot with guaranteed incentives. For Wasserman, the logic is simple. If Kai plays 2 high-intensity FIBA games in Manila, the risk of a re-injury, however small, is a risk they cannot afford to take when an NBA contract is potentially days away from being signed. They are looking at the big picture. They believe that if Kai becomes the first full-blooded Filipino in the NBA, it does more for Philippine basketball in the long run than winning a qualifying game in February. But for the fans, and perhaps for Kai himself, the pull of the Puso spirit is harder to ignore. Let's talk about the mechanics of this rumored NBA deal. A 10-day contract, or an Exhibit 10 deal, is a 1-year, minimum salary NBA contract that allows a team to convert the contract to a 2-way deal before the start of the regular season. In the context of the February window, we are likely looking at a 10-day call-up. This is the most prestigious and difficult way to enter the league. It means an NBA team has an immediate opening, usually due to an injury or a trade, and they need a specific skill set. Kai's size and improved passing from the high post have made him a target for teams looking for a developmental big who can provide a different look. If Kai signs his deal, he has to be in the United States, practicing with the team, learning the playbook, and being available for games immediately. The FIBA window dates, February 26th and March 1st, clash directly with the scouting and signing period. You cannot be in 2 places at once. If Kai is in Manila fighting for rebounds against Australia, he cannot be in Los Angeles or Miami proving he belongs on an NBA roster. This leads us to the Quentin Miller-Brown factor. With Kai's availability in doubt, the SBP has moved quickly to secure the services of the 6'10" Miller-Brown. While he doesn't have the unicorn upside of Sotto, he provides a level of blue-collar stability and defensive rebounding that Gilas desperately needs. The emergence of Mike Phillips as a local eligible player also changes the math. For the first time in years, the national team has a plan B that doesn't feel like a total collapse. This might actually give Kai's management the confidence to hold him back. They see a Gilas team that can survive without him for 1 window, allowing Kai to pursue the opportunity of a lifetime. However, we have to address the optics. Some fans feel that Kai has been chasing the NBA dream at the expense of national duty for years. From the G League Ignite departure to the multiple summer league stints, the road has been long and winding. There is a segment of the fan base that believes the best way for Kai to get to the NBA is through dominant performances in FIBA, showing he can compete with NBA-level talent like the Australians. They argue that a 10-day contract is a gamble, whereas a FIBA window is a guaranteed platform. But we must be fair to Kai. This isn't a 19-year-old kid anymore. He is a professional who has lived through the trauma of a major surgery. He understands that the window for a 7-footer to make the NBA is relatively short. If his agents, who have direct lines to NBA GMs, are telling him, stay healthy, stay home, and be ready for call, it is incredibly difficult to say no. Furthermore, the deep dive into the situation reveals a broader trend in global basketball. We see this with European and South American stars all the time. The tension between the club, the country, and the NBA is a constant theme. What makes the Kai Sotto situation unique is the sheer weight of expectation from over 110 million people. Every move he makes is scrutinized. Every missed game is a headline. As we look toward the actual games, the tactical implications for Tim Cohn are massive. If Kai is out, the Twin Towers approach with June Fajardo is off the table. Gilas will have to play faster, use more versatile lineups, and rely on the perimeter scoring of guys like Justin Brownlee even more. It changes the identity of the team. But perhaps that's what this window is about. Finding out who Gilas is when their biggest star isn't available. Ultimately, the 10-day exhibit in Summer League path is the most concrete NBA league we've seen for Kai in years. It's not just a maybe anymore. It's a now or never moment. If he makes it, he becomes a pioneer. If he misses the FIBA window and the NBA deal doesn't materialize, the backlash will be significant. It is a high-stakes gamble for everyone involved. But if you're Kai Sotto and you've spent your whole life being told you're the one, don't you have to take that shot? The background of his management's decision also stems from the medical protocols of NBA teams. When an NBA team looks at a player who is coming off an ACL injury, they want to see load management. They don't want to see a player fly halfway across the world, play 2 high-stress games with high minutes, and then hop back on a plane. The physical toll of international travel and the change in time zones are major red flags for NBA training staffs. By sitting out the FIBA window, Kai isn't just resting. He's performing a pre-draft or pre-signing maintenance protocol. In the coming days, we expect an official statement from the SBP. Whether it's an injury designation or a personal reason excuse, the reality remains the same. The Kai Sotto saga is moving into its most critical chapter yet. This isn't just about the third window. It's about the next 10 years of his career. If the NBA is the goal, the path currently leads through a very narrow door in North America, not a stadium in Manila. We also have to consider the long-term relationship between Kai and the national team. Tim Cohn is a coach who values commitment, but he is also a coach who understands the professional aspirations of his players. He has gone on record saying he wants what's best for Kai's career. If that means an NBA contract, Coach Cohn will be the first to congratulate him. This maturity from the coaching staff helps ease the tension, but it doesn't solve the problem of how to stop a 7-foot Australian center in the paint next week. As we analyze the input data provided, the mention of summer is also key. This isn't just about a 10-day contract in February/March. It's about securing a spot for the 2026 NBA Summer League with a team that actually has a roster opening. In previous years, Kai was often an extra on Summer League rosters. This year, the goal is to be a priority player. To be a priority player, you have to be available for the entire spring evaluation period. So, as we wrap up this deep dive, the picture becomes clearer. We are looking at a calculated, strategic, and perhaps painful decision to prioritize the NBA dream over a single FIBA window. It is a decision made by professionals for a professional, with the hope that the ultimate payoff, a Filipino in the NBA, will justify the temporary absence from a national team. As we look at the clock winding down toward the February window, the Kaiju situation serves as a powerful reminder of how far Philippine basketball has come and how much further it still hopes to go. This isn't just about one player skipping a couple of games. It's about the growing pains of a nation that is finally producing talent at an NBA caliber level. For years, we wondered if we would ever have this problem. The problem of a player being too close to the NBA to risk playing for the national team. Now that the moment is here, it's understandable that it feels bittersweet. The potential for Kai Sotto to sign a 10-day exhibit contract and secure a legitimate path to the Summer League is the closest we have ever been to seeing the dream realized. While the sight of Kai in a Gilas jersey is what we all crave, the sight of him in an NBA jersey would be a historical landmark that changes the perception of Filipino athletes forever. It would validate the years of training, the move to the U.S. as a teenager, the stints in Australia and Japan, and the grueling recovery from that ACL injury. To the fans who are feeling disappointed, it's okay to want your best players on the floor. That's what being a fan is about. But let's also hold space to the fact that Kai Sotto is carrying the weight of a country's basketball aspirations on his shoulders. If his management believes that this specific window of time is his best shot at the NBA, we have to trust the process. The SBP, Tim Cohn, and the Gilas players are moving forward with a next-man-up mentality. And with guys like Quentin Miller-Brown and Mike Phillips ready to step in, the future of the front line is in good hands. This is a documentary-style evolution of a superstar. Every great player has these moments, these crossroads where they have to choose between the immediate gratification of a home game and the long-term legacy of a global career. If Kai Sotto makes it to the NBA, these missed games will be nothing more than a footnote in a legendary story. If he doesn't, they will be part of a larger conversation about what could have been. But in the world of professional sports, you have to bet on yourself. You have to take the shot when the light is green. We will be monitoring the situation every hour. As soon as a signature hits a contract or a flight is booked for Manila, we will be the first to let you know. The kaiju is ready to roar. The only question is, which stage will you be standing on? Is it the FIBA court in Manila or an NBA arena in the United States? Either way, the journey of Kai Sotto remains the most compelling story in Asian basketball today. Thank you for joining us for this extensive deep dive. We've covered the medical, the tactical, the professional, and the emotional layers of this breaking news. It's a complex situation with no easy answers. But that's what makes a game we love so captivating. Whether you're Team Gilas or Team NBA, one thing is certain. We are all Team Kai. We want to see him succeed. We want to see him healthy. And we want to see him represent the Philippines at the highest level possible, whatever that looks like in the coming weeks. Stay tuned as we continue to follow the most important month in the career of the 7'3" phenom. The third window is almost here, and the NBA call is louder than ever. This has been your comprehensive analysis of the Kai Sotto NBA contract rumors and the FIBA eligibility dilemma. Don't go anywhere, because this story is just getting started, and the implications will be felt for years to come. From the rehab facilities in Japan to the scouting offices in the U.S., the eyes of the world are on Kai. And as always, we'll be here to break it all down for you, every step of the way. The dream is alive, the stakes are real, and the future is now. Let's see where the journey takes us next. Would you like me to keep you updated on any official announcements from the SBP or Wasserman regarding Kai's status?